News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine with Nick Barris.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. Nick Barris here on a Tuesday, the day after the eclipse. Good to have you back with us, huh? It was quite a day yesterday, and we'll get back to the business of news beside the eclipse the rest of the week here, and we're going to open up the phone lines. This morning, we're going to talk more about the aftermath of what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia, the issue of basically that came out of there that's raised concerns around the country in cities about how you handle situations just like that, the issues of hate, the issues of freedom to protest and rally, how individual cities can handle this and do a better job maybe of preaching togetherness. We're going to get into that and take your phone calls with our guest this morning, who actually had a great view yesterday. I understand there were no clouds up in Clarksville, but the mayor of Clarksville, Kim McMillan's with us this morning. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning.
Good to have you on.
So good to be here.
Appreciate you. Yeah, you guys had a good day. It was clear.
We had a great day.
Got a little cloudy here, and I know Hopkinsville was, you know, just near you. Great. It was packed with people.
I know it. 2 minutes and 10 seconds of total darkness.
It was. So now, what's the next one? 2024, is it? Something like that, going through Ohio. But we got it, and it was quite a day yesterday. But thank you for coming on this morning. As I said, we're shifting gears. The reason she's coming on this morning, specifically, and I'm going to let you explain how this came about, but the mayor's compact to combat hate, extremism, and bigotry. All right, there are what, some 250 mayors with the U.S. Conference of Mayors.
Correct. All
right, is this spawned out of this compact?
Yes, it is. The U.S. Conference of Mayors is a nationwide organization of cities over 30,000 in population, cities and towns across the United States. So you're talking about larger cities and towns over 30,000.
There's really only about 5 of those in Tennessee, correct?
In Tennessee, there are actually six cities that are over 100,000, but there are a number of cities that are over 30,000, if you think about it.
Okay, I guess over 30, you're right. So the biggest cities, though, I mean, we think obviously Nashville, Memphis, Knoxville, Chattanooga and Clarksville.
We're the 5th largest city in the state, so very close to Knoxville and Chattanooga in population.
Okay, well, you signed on to this compact. Now, did this come? What did you think as you saw what was happening in the aftermath of Charlottesville, especially hearing from the mayor there, who was horrified at what happened? What did you think? While you're watching this, you're a mayor, you may know that individual, but I mean, what did you think?
Well, what we thought as the U.S. Conference of Mayors, we are an organization that we primarily go to Washington and try to lobby our senators and our congressional representatives to really look at things that are beneficial to cities, because that's where the population is. We see that about 87% of the people that live in the United States live in our cities and towns. So it's a more of an urban environment, and we need to make sure that there are laws passed that actually benefit people that live in cities, because the mayors of the United States, we're a bipartisan organization. The majority of mayors are elected on a bipartisan basis, so we're not looking to try to find partisan solutions to problems. We're looking to find bipartisan solutions. You know, I like to say there's no Republican or Democratic way to fill a pothole, and that's what we do, is have to find solutions to problems just like that. So we felt like after Charlottesville that it was our duty to step up as mayors and say, we for so long as mayors have really looked to how can we promote diversity, how can we promote fairness and equality in our cities, and we want to do that, and we want to help make sure that Charlottesville type of situations don't happen in the future, as much as we can do as city mayors to try to prevent that. So we came up with a compact, and it's a compact, and we did it in conjunction with the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL, which is another nationwide organization that is really geared toward promoting fairness and equality in all aspects. And so the two of us came together, we formed the compact, we have 10 guiding principles, and then we went out and said to all the mayors in the United States of cities over 30,000, we want you to sign on, and we want you to continue to promote these ideals of fairness and equality, and making sure that in our cities what happened in Charlottesville doesn't happen, or at least we can do what we can to try to promote these principles.
But I assume, knowing you, Kim, I mean, you're already doing this, okay?
Exactly.
You speak out against racism. Most of the mayors are good people that are already doing that. So what can you do differently? I mean, because obviously it's there. There's the undercurrent, and I assume the mayor and the people in Charlottesville are good people, but then what happened there blew up, and I think that could happen just about anywhere. Well, so what do you do differently? Because you've been doing that anyway. It's not like all of a sudden, like, oh, let's all of a sudden speak out for racism. Now, no, you've been doing that anyway.
Well, we need to use the bully pulpit of the mayor's office more so than what had happened before. Sometimes you get so caught up in things like we said about filling potholes and addressing drainage issues and dealing with some of those issues, you forget about the big issues that matter to people every day, and that's preventing these kinds of attitudes that may be prevalent across our cities and across the United States. So we as mayors need to use our mayor's office as a bully pulpit to speak out against that type of behavior, and really make sure that people know that we stand together as mayors in the United States to say we don't want this kind of stuff to happen in our cities.
How do you prevent it, though? I mean, I assume in Clarksville, all right, KKK, let's say they want to rally in Clarksville, all right, and let's say they want to apply for the proper permits to have what they hope will be a peaceful rally, but they're going to be out there with the sheets over their head and whatever, if they're carrying torches, and they want to go through town. Now, I don't know what the regulations are on permitting process, but if they get the proper channels and do this, they're going to march. And if that happens, I mean, can you stand in the way of that? And if you don't, you know there's going to be a counter protest. And you know then that could produce some kind of violence. And that could happen in any city in the country. So what are you suggesting? Restricting who can march?
No, we can't restrict who can march. But what we try to do as mayors and cities is look at what surrounds the issuance of permits. I mean, we also promote free speech. We want to promote those type of activities. So we can't deny permits just based on the content of the speech. Right. But we can regulate how it is exercised, in the sense of there are some cities that restrict the ability to carry weapons while you're marching in a type of protest.
And what the definition of what that weapon may be, whether it be a gun or a club.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
I like that.
So we can do things like that. We can also make sure that our police chiefs, because in your cities, the police departments come under the guidance of the mayor's office, because we hire the police chiefs, and we assist in helping hire the police departments. So they work for the mayor. So we want to work in conjunction with our police departments to make sure that they have the tools that they need to be able to make sure that they protect the public and keep the peace. And so if there are extra tools and things that the cities need to make sure that they have the proper equipment and riot gear and other things that may be necessary, especially in your larger cities. I mean, the mayor of Los Angeles and New York and Chicago and Houston and Dallas are all members of the U.S. Conference of Mayors and are all signatories to this compact, because they believe in making sure that we plan ahead so that we protect everybody's ability of free speech, but we also make sure that we protect the public from violence and extremism and racism, and making sure that everybody's rights are protected in a fair and equitable manner.
And you know, it's interesting, you talk about there are ways you can do that. I want to talk more a little bit about how you can go about doing it. You're placing certain types of restrictions on it, but again, without eliminating the right to free speech. Maybe more of what maybe you, from observing, have learned from watching in the aftermath of Charlottesville. We can take some phone calls as well, and also I'm going to talk about, the next incident like Charlottesville could happen in Tennessee. In fact, there is a KKK protest rally scheduled for East Tennessee. We'll talk a little bit about that coming up and maybe how that'll be dealt with. The number on the screen, if you want to join in the conversation, we've got some calls coming in. Your thoughts on this and how you address it and where we go from here with the mayor of Clarksville right after this. Stay with us.